Millions in Syria and Iraq are facing water shortages as the region's longest river, the Euphrates, dries up.
What's beneath Euphrates River? There's quite a lot of off-season story surrounding this river drying up. Christianity, Islam, and ancient Babylon all have connections to this river and what's underneath it. Christianity and Islam both teach that this river will dry up. There's an ancient legend that Babylon had a tunnel under the Euphrates that connected of the two halves of the city of Babylon in Mesopotamia. I will explain each of these. Close to 2,000 years ago, written 95 AD, the book of Revelation gives us two prophecies about Euphrates River. First is Revelation 9 verse 13 to 15, and 6 angels sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar which is before God, saying to the 6 angels which had the trumpet, Loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates, and the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and year, for to slay the third part of men. This is in reference to the end-time battles going on in that time. The next prophecy about Euphrates told us that it will be dried up, which is amazing because we are seeing the beginning stages of this happen right now, as different nations dam up the river and the region surrounding the river dealing with horrible droughts. Revelation 16 verse 12, and 6 angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and its water was dried up, so that the way the kings from the east might be prepared. The Euphrates River was also mentioned in the first book of the Bible, Genesis. According to Genesis 2 verse 14, a river named Euphrates is one of the 4 rivers that flow from the Garden of Eden. The other 3 rivers are Pishon, Gihon, and the Tigris. The book of Genesis was written 3.050 years ago, around 1.065 to 1050 BC. Islam also said that the Euphrates River will dry up. Written 600 years after the book of Revelation, the Quran mentioned that Euphrates drying up and the mountain of gold being revealed, Bukhari 7.119. The hour will not come to pass before the river Euphrates dries up to reveal the mountain of gold, for which people will struggle, and 99 out of every 100 people will die in the conflict. The Prophet Muhammad said every guy among them will think to himself, perhaps I'm the only one who's still living. So what's the timeline for the Euphrates River to be completely dried up? Of course, no one knows for sure, but it's predicted that Iraq's 2 major rivers, the Euphrates and the Tigris, could go entirely dry within 2 decades, unless action's taken. No one knows the exact location of this mountain of gold, and whether the mountain of gold mentioned is a real form or just a name for other objects such as oil, natural gas, or other valuable things. In another hadith, Prophet Muhammad said, Soon the river Euphrates will disclose the treasure, the mountain of gold. So, who will be present at that time should not take anything from him. According to report by the country's water ministry, Iraq will be a nation without rivers by 2040. According to the headlines in the local media, Euphrates Tunnel said to have been built between 2.180 and 2.160 BC. The tunnel was said to connect to palaces on each side of the Euphrates River. The location of this tunnel still hasn't known today, but it's been documented in 2 different books written in 50 BC and 250 AD. I'll quote both of these writings. Description of the tunnel is being built and used by Queen Semiramis is given by Diodorus in 50 BC in the middle of Becca historical quote, this piece of work being finished in 260 days. The river was turned into its ancient channel again, so that the river flowing over the whole work, Semiramis, could go from one palace to the other without passing over the river. She made likewise 2 brazen gates at either end of the vault, which continue to the time of the Persian Empire. There have been reports of interesting discoveries emerging from the riverbed as water levels have decreased. For example, in 2021, a team of German and Kurdish archaeologists has uncovered a 3,400-year-old Mitanni Empire-era city once located on the Tigris River. The settlement emerged from the waters of the Mosul Reservoir early this year as water levels fell rapidly due to extreme drought in Iraq. The extensive city, with a palace and several large buildings, could be ancient Sakiku, believed to have been an important center in the Mitanni Empire, which ranges between 1550 to 1350 BC. Other discoveries have included ancient artifacts, such as pottery and coins. While the decreasing water levels of the Euphrates are a cause for concern, these discoveries have provided valuable insights into the history and culture of the region. And some time ago someone went viral on social media showing the level of the Euphrates River water level had dropped dramatically. But what is surprising is the emergence of several very mysterious cave doors on the banks of the river. The tunnel shown in the video has a complex structure, which has an entrance with a distinctive shape and has stairs that are still intact today. The stairs lead downwards and are difficult to enter because part of the tunnel space is still flooded with water, so special tools are needed to reach it. But netizens argue that it is a cave left by previous people who lived in the past. And currently there is no official information about this terrifying tunnel. This river has a long and interesting history and will play a key role in the final days, before end time. Keeping an eye on this river will be a good way to know the times and the seasons that we're heading into in relation to the last days. It's interesting to see how much of the surrounding region had supernatural ties of the Euphrates River. The Assyrian river deity was named Euphrates and lived in Western Asia and was known as the god of the rivers. In modern-day Turkey and Iraq, from the Bible to Babylon. The Euphrates has been a major part of Earth's history and will continue to trying to prove Bible prophecy is happening right now, during our lives, since up to this point every other Bible prophecy has come to pass. It's important to watch for the ones that have yet to be fulfilled, which every day more and more are moving to their fulfillment. I will share a video link in the description section, which in the video shows how the process of the Euphrates River drying up very quickly in just a few years. It shows in the same spot, but in a short time the water can just disappear, who knows where it went. So it is not surprising that many prehistoric remains that have never been seen by the modern world suddenly appear after the water recedes. Now that we are at the end of time, and the Euphrates River will dry up completely, what about the prophesied mountains of gold? Will it really appear? No one knows for sure about this. If you like this information, please join us for other interesting information. Thank for any support.